will be a good little experiment.
Yeah.
Okay,
It says we're live.
at lies. Can everybody hear us? Sound check.
Yes.
Can everybody hear us?
It's important.
Do
Okay.
we have sound?
We have sound. Yay.
Hey, thank God we have sound. Okay, let's see here. Get this started.
Let's scooch over so I'm more in picture. There we go.
Apparently, Jesse doesn't hear anything.
Jesse.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Um,
He's
Kidding.
channeling his inner Sergeant Schultz.
If you want to keep the heat on at the blanket fort, tomorrow will be the cool, but today's the heat. Donate here. Somebody was saying earlier that you had to have a PayPal account to use Ko-fi, but we're not sure.
I think you should be able to do it with your debit card. It may prompt you to start a PayPal account, but I think if you ignore that, you should be able to get around it.
So keep the heat on, because
Please.
damn. If you drink coffee, most of us do, buy from these guys. Let them know you heard about it here, so send us more coffee because we're running out.
I was going to say, if we can get the camera to actually focus on that so y'all can read it, we'll give you a second.
And as always,
Yeah, I don't think we need to focus on that. Everybody knows what that says.
and whoever sent the $10 ransom for Cecil, no, you can't have him. Cecil stays here. He may not like it, and he's running out of voice.
Oh, no.
Back to the basement, Cecil.
Oh, there he screamed when he landed over there.
He's getting used to it. That kind of sucks. Happy Thursday. Today it is me and Cedar with Jonna lurking in the back somewhere. So I really, as usual, less than usual, have less of a plan than usual.
Are we supposed to have a plan? I mean, above and beyond spanking the monkey, because that seems to have become a theme.
Beating the monkey? No, that just sounds worse.
Flinging the monkey?
He gets flung a lot. He doesn't always hit soft either.
No.
Spank. Yes, because it's a monkey, and they come that way anyway.
I do have show and tell.
She does.
If you need a minute to
go right ahead.
So I try to order copies of new releases so we can get them in time for this, because ordering author copies can take a month to 6 weeks because Amazon. So I didn't get the hard copy, but I did get the paperback copy of Postcards from Mars, because I really, really wanted to get this in and then show you all how nice the illustrations look in this. Because
they're fantastic.
It's fully color illustrated. So, I mean, we have Dorothy Grant has a story in here, and
several folks that it's their first time ever, right?
Right. And including my husband's story, which is, I actually happen to have opened almost to it, probably because he was showing it off earlier. So that's the image. And there was no nepotism involved, because when the stories got submitted, I knew that I was connected to a few of the people, including my husband, that sent stories in.
It's a small group.
So I told Courtney that I didn't want to be involved in picking the stories, that I would do the formatting, and I had done the illustrations. So she took his story and was like, it was a complete story. It was a good story.
One of the ones I picked.
Yeah.
So
he writes. He says he's not a writer because he doesn't have to write. No. Well, this is his definition, and he's not completely wrong on this.
That's definition for an author.
No, a writer has to write. Someone who can write will write when they want to.
Oh, okay.
But you and I both know that there's no walking away from being a writer.
It's a disease. It's sort of like fabric.
Yes.
So I had another idea.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? Not full of ideas. I'm going to post this one in North Texas Troublemakers, because this is not a book, but it's a really fun one. One of the teachers I worked with at the high school, is also did a 50-word challenge for his students, but he now has something like 35 kids in his writing class. So he decided to change the challenge this year to a 6-word memoir.
Okay.
So I'm going to post the flip book from the class
Mm-hmm.
and challenge all of our writers in there to come up with a 6-word memoir. So
Hey, next time someone asks me for a short bio for a convention, I'll have it.
6-word memoir.
so it's really cool the thing they put online. So it's, and he's an excellent writing instructor, just
Oh.
amazing. But I
Yeah.
thought that would be a fun thing for people to play with. So
I got a 7-word.
no, 6.
So the fun thing with this was that because of Amazon's constraints on length, we didn't want to have more than 20 authors in Postcards from Mars or any of the postcards anthologies, because there will be more. And we had to kind of brainstorm to come up with ways to expand the book to be long enough for Amazon's minimum requirements. So one of them that we did is, you'll find in the back of the book, you'll find image prompts and a blank so that you can write your own 50-word stories. And there's a few of these back here. So when you buy the book, it's not just great short stories to read, it's also inspiration for
Practice.
Yes. And then the other one that came in is the paper copy for But Not Broken, which has a significantly wider spine, you'll note. There's about 90,000 words worth of stories in this anthology, which makes it a good length, 14 stories. So it came out, I mean, as far as what the interior of a paper book looks like, it's a paper book. It's not exciting. I wasn't going to illustrate this. This one was all about the words.
I don't know that you really could illustrate without taking something away.
Yeah, I feel like illustration gives it a lighter touch, or the illustrations would be so dark. Sometimes it's easier when you have a dark story to have it in text, and it can actually make it almost too much to then illustrate it. Which is why I have issues sometimes with some of the comic books these days that are really gritty and edgy and very, very dark. My son actually just asked me to buy him Mouse.
Oh.
I had bought Mouse for myself when I was about his age, but my copies have gone missing some point in the move.
Yep, that tends to happen.
Yeah. So he wanted Mouse, and I said, yeah, no, absolutely no problem. I mean, Art Spiegelman, those are brilliant, brilliant books.
Yes, they are.
And he's at an age where reading about a young man dealing with his aging father is probably got good lessons in it, as well as the rest of that. Yeah, no, I'm very happy with how these books came out in print. It's always my concern when we do this through PubShare, because I can't do proof copies.
Right.
So it's always like, well, it's live. Let's hope it's okay.
See what happens. Fire and all.
So
yeah, the excellent contradiction on the postcards. I'm really excited for the LibertyCon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's going to be.
Woo. Yeah, that'll be fun, because I think all three of us will be there. All three of Jonna and Courtney and I will be at LibertyCon. So running around handing out postcards.
One way or another.
Yep. Yeah, I think the next con that I'm being dragged to is a steampunk convention in Louisiana.
In a month.
In a month. Mid-March is that one. So what happens if we publish live and there are serious problems? Ag Tiger, Amazon actually has some pre-flight checks that catch anything that would be like printing off the edge of a page.
Usually catches.
No, the only problem is if you get a book that has serious misprints, like the it's offset off a page, that's actually a problem with their printing press.
Oh.
So because they have pre-flight checks of the PDF files that you send to them to make sure that you fall within the proper margins and cut zones.
I forget who I was.
Because I know Jim has had some issues.
Yeah, I think it was Jim that.
But
they changed font and changed
Okay, now that's
spacing.
probably a problem with the formatting of the file he sent.
Mm.
And what I try to do with a PDF file that I'm going to send off for printing is I will flatten it so it's not, there's no possibility of the formatting, like a font not coming through on the
Okay.
other end. Everything's embedded, everything's flattened, so that way it's all not, it's not going to move. There's no way for it to move because you can edit a PDF file. Acrobat Pro will edit a PDF file. It's not a completely locked down format. It is more locked down than a doc file is.
Okay.
So
Yeah, PDF. I've never messed with PDFs much, so I don't. I just
I get hired to edit a microbiology textbook,
oh,
and had to get Acrobat Pro to edit the document because that's how they were sending it to you, was basically as PDFs, and I had to be able to edit it. And sometimes that meant getting in there making changes because it turns out that there is no spell checker, even by the big textbook editors, that will automatically spell check scientific terminology.
oh.
So that's what I was a glorified spell checker.
Oh, well, as long as you got paid well for it, it's all good.
Yeah, I was getting like $20 an hour, and this is while I was still in college, so I
Really
was
good.
okay with it.
It's really good.
So
Speaking of the news, apparently the whole Roald Dahl thing has blown up in Puffin or Netflix. I'm not really sure which one's responsible for this atrocity. Some folks saying Puffin is, other folks saying Netflix is.
both. We
Both.
can embrace the power of and.
Well, apparently they wound up with some very corrosive egg on their faces, and they're crawfishing as fast as possible, which is really kind of amusing. The French and German editions,
Dutch, Jesse says. French and Dutch publishers have told
Yeah.
Puffin to pound sand. They
Yep.
refuse to boulderize their editions.
Yep, and that's good.
Yes. Well, and the other thing too is that I'm seeing pushback on it from the most
From
interesting
everybody.
literary pundits. I mean, some really radically left people are like, no.
Well, I say everything is a pendulum. Everything
Mhm.
goes through cycles,
Mhm.
and the pendulum has gone. I think the pendulum has on as far as the political correctness in words has either reached its limit or is getting there, and its fixes are heading back, and that's going to be fun. I say fun in a highly sarcastic way.
Yeah, because I think there's still going to be a lot of people pushing to try and go even further.
Yeah.
Whether they'll make any traction or not is, yeah, the problem is that it's not going to just come back to neutral and stop.
It never stops at neutral.
So I had shared a quote from a book. So I'm reading Jurgen, A Comedy of Justice. It was written by James Cabell in 1919. It is considered the progenitor of comedic fantasy. So Terry Pratchett is said to have taken a lot of his cues from it. It is certainly a direct riff from Heinlein to his Job, A Comedy of Justice.
Really?
Yep. So I had come across mention of it several times, and I finally downloaded it. It's free online because it's out of copyright. And the first little bit of it, I'm reading it, and I'm like, "Holy crud! This is so much what's going on now." And it's a satiric little thing of, I'm going to be offended, but I'm not going to tell you what's offending me, because if I said exactly what's offending me, that would be offensive. So therefore, it's enough that I find this offensive. And
get over it.
And I mean, it's Cabell, it's a different language, it's a lot more words than that. But I saw that and I was like, well, that looks familiar.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, if you look at the time, what was going on then was actually the far right being all prudish and being like, well, we can't have anything that looks remotely like pornography in our
Ankles.
books.
Oh my God, ankles.
Smut. Ankles.
Yeah, ankles. Oh my God, ankles.
So we've gone, the pendulum has swung, and that neutral in the middle, unfortunately, we never get to stop there.
Nope. Nope.
However, my hopeful take out of this is that we were there before and we got out of it.
Oh,
And we swung back the other way. So we know that we've gotten out of it before. What worked? And can we adapt that to now?
no, because people never learn from history.
Yeah, but if we can learn from history and create tactics that'll work against the same kind of Puritanism,
Tactics have to be adopted by everybody, and the numpties never learn. You can say, "Hey,"
I don't care about the numpties.
but they're the ones that have to adopt the tactics.
No, we have to adopt the tactics to fight the numpties. Do you
Oh.
see what I'm saying?
Well,
That gives us some ideas of, okay, what works against them. I'm not trying to teach the numpties. I know about it. There's
what
nothing up
works
there.
against them?
Mocking them works nicely.
I was going to say shallow graves out in the desert, but I don't want YouTube to.
But that's not what we did before. It was 1919. It was after the Great War.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll give you that. No, everything's a cycle. Everything's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Not only have we seen this before, history has seen this before multiple times.
Yes.
The Romans went through this.
Well, I mean, if you go back, I was studying history, the gymnasiums, ancient Greece, and the forced separation of men from women, because at the time the Greeks believed that all women were lasciviously mad for sex, and the only way men could get any peace
God
was
bless
to
them.
have.
And then they wrote Lysistrata. Now there's a play to costume. I love doing Lysistrata.
So the ancient Greeks may have been onto something, but
God bless them. Okay. In other news, moving on. Other news.
I've tried to give him time to come up with things. I really have.
My brain's in neutral today. Our very favorite nuclear waste inspector got thumped again.
Oh.
Yeah, Sam Brenton.
Oh my God.
Oh,
The
is
first-
this the one where the designer called him out?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
lord!
Our very favorite nuclear waste inspector and first ever non-binary gender fluid. What the hell the term is today?
This week.
There is a lady of Tanzanian extraction living in Houston, and she is a
She's a fashion designer.
Fashion
Fashion
That's what
designer
I'm
makes
for.
beautiful things.
Makes
Oh
absolutely
my gosh,
gorgeous
her stuff
things.
is gorgeous, and she's lovely.
And she was looking at some of the news pictures and went, "Hey,
That's my dress.
that's my dress."
It had been stolen in her luggage.
Yeah,
in 2018.
in 2018 in
And
DC.
And he's wearing it because he
It's-
stole her
wasn't-
luggage.
Wasn't just it. Apparently, there's 2 or 3. She gone. That's my.
And somebody said, "Oh no, that's not the same dress." And then she popped up with 4 more pictures of him in 4 more dresses, and
Yeah.
then showed the runway pictures.
And
Yeah.
the Twitter feed is fantastic because
It's hilarious.
her Twitter feed is half, "Oh my God, I can't believe he did that," and the other half is, "Oh my God, how could he make such a gorgeous dress look so dumpy?"
So bad.
And oh, child, that's not your color.
Oh, honey, not that.
No, the lipstick that he wears is wrong for his
It's just
facial color.
Would you please just go to Ulta or see a Mary Kay lady? Something. Just fix that.
I once had the privilege of getting to face paint a Massachusetts drag queen. And
it's so much fun.
And I knew it was an honor because, I mean, she's dressed to the nines. Her makeup is perfect.
Yes.
And she let me paint her face. And I'm like, I'm really proud of this.
Yeah.
And then she was very, very happy with what I did. That is not the same thing
No.
as some dude putting makeup on, because it's not the same
No.
thing.
I'm
There's style and class. and
I'm
then
fairly
there's,
classically liberal, but that bright hooker red lipstick under a mustache really doesn't sit right.
It's wrong for the facial color. I mean,
it's the wrong color. It's wrong. It's just like, and it's cheap. It's obviously cheap lipstick, which is sad. I mean, if you're gonna do that, at least have some class, you
Right,
know?
Well,
Exactly.
you're working for the federal government. You could afford the good lipstick.
Right? So that's the part that offends me. It's like, oh my God, just you have no color sense and you don't shape and proportion. And okay, your shoes rock. But besides that, everything else is wrong.
Well, the shoes probably rock because he stole them.
He stole
He
from
apparently stole
somebody's
them.
luggage.
Well, but you can't guarantee that the shoes you get out of somebody's luggage are going to fit you, or the dresses for that matter.
Well, the dresses.
Damn.
And he's a guy.
But just
He's a slender guy.
well, he's
I mean,
slender
there's
though.
no muscle there.
I mean, so but still, just in terms of
He's a
you're-
guy.
I don't know.
Mhm.
It's a
And
caricature.
He's got shoulders.
No, it's a caricature
So
of
do
what
I.
a guy thinks a woman should look like, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it really is.
as a woman, I'm offended by the whole caricature of women, as by people who think they're women. And
Yeah.
it's like when it's like, no, that's not how that. Anyway, whatever. Of course, now I'm a turf. So, oh darn. So, but anyway,
No,
in other
it-
happier news of bright, pretty things, it's
Not
your
lipstick?
birthday tomorrow, isn't it?
I forget.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
I forget.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Is it tomorrow?
Yep, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Ian's birthday.
Okay.
Send him pasties.
Or you could put an R in there and make it pastries.
Oh, was it pastries? I read the card wrong.
And I say again, my last, whoever sent me the ransom for the monkey, it didn't work. Way too
Oh
much
no,
way
no
too much
glowing,
giggling going on.
no
over
glowing pastries, because to the best of my knowledge, there is no food safe glow in the dark. I
No,
know
there's
this
not.
because I've done face and body painting, and there's things that you're not supposed to put near the mouth.
No. There's a lot of things you're not supposed to put near your mouth.
You're not supposed to put anything that will react with UV light, so no black light paint go near the mouth, and no glow in the dark paint near the mouth or the eyes, for that matter. There is food safe glitter.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
I'm trying to find my mental glow stick, and it's just not coming back. Moving on.
Definitely don't put glow sticks in pastries.
No, please don't.
Okay, you're not supposed to.
For external use only.
Well, shit. So that one time that I broke the red glow stick, put it in my mouth, and so it was dribbling, and went chasing the kids down the street one Halloween night was bad.
That explains so very much about things now.
There was screaming for.
Oh, I'm sure.
That-
And poor Jim has got snow. A lot of snow,
Yay!
evidently.
Yeah, my daughter has a foot of snow.
A foot of snow in Oregon. Well, I know Travis Lee Clark was complaining about shoveling, and then shoveling part 2, shovel harder. So I think they got a lot of snow in Utah.
Yeah, I was looking at pictures. Larry put up pictures of his Yard Moose Mountain and snow plowing, so he could get all the constructive comments on how he should spend his money from people that don't live in Utah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That was amusing.
that's just
Really? You're telling an accountant how to spend his money. That's real smart.
no. It's more stay in your lane.
Yeah.
You don't live on a mountain. You don't live in Utah. You don't have any snow. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, he says it bogged down his snowplow several times in the driveway.
Oh wow.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, because
Yeah.
2 feet of snow.
Yeah, the snow shoveling is one of those things that I don't recommend if you can possibly mechanize it
Yes.
in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
I have shoveled 3 foot of snow that fell in one storm,
Yeah.
and that was not fun.
See, you know the best way to deal with that fluffy white shit that lands in the yard?
You assume it was fluffy.
Well, you know the best way to deal with that cold white shit that lands in the yard? Throw another log in the fireplace, fire up the hot chocolate machine, and get under the covers with a book
And hope emergency services doesn't need to get to you.
Irish coffee.
or Irish coffee.
Irish
Goes
coffee's
goes
good.
without saying.
So-
No, it's you just don't. We're in Texas. It'll go away tomorrow.
That
You'll be fine.
There are reasons that I have moved to Texas. I mean, One of them is that it's mid-February and my sugar snap peas are already breaking ground in my garden.
I was wearing shorts yesterday, not only a long sleeve hoodie.
The only reason I'm wearing short sleeves is because my son showed up unexpectedly with things to tell me and I fled.
That tends to happen. No, yesterday I was in t-shirt and shorts.
No,
I was happy.
hot yesterday.
It was 84 degrees yesterday. I was happy. And then today, no.
And it's the next couple of days. It's supposed to be cold and damp, and then we'll get back up to being warm again.
And then we'll get our Easter freeze, and I can plant my bloody peppers.
Speaking of which,
I did tell you that I've got the Mad Hatter seeds in, right?
yes,
Okay,
and
good.
I will get those from you. I have the Tam jalapenos. I've got
Yay!
nine pots sowed, so hopefully all of them come up.
How many seeds you put per pot when you sow?
2 or 3.
I think I've got 30, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to just drop one in there and see what happens.
Well, I can always pre-germinate. There's a couple of ways to do that, so you know what kind of germination rate you're going, and then you very carefully put them.
Rate. Grow seed. Water. Grow. That's
Well, sometimes it's all it takes. Yes. This is new for me though, because so I started gardening in Alaska, which is technically zone 2, but really there's no given day of the year you can't get a frost on.
okay.
And the growing season itself is very, very short. And then garden for many years, including having a market garden in New Hampshire, which is rocks and more rocks and very short growing season.
And was in sometime in the past scraped clean by glaciers.
Right, and that's why you have rocks. And then I was briefly in Ohio, which is like God's own country as far as farmland goes. Really glad I don't live there anymore, but that's because government issues. I think we're finally going to get the tax bills paid off from Ohio. I think.
Seriously?
Yeah. They have like 3 different tax agencies that you have to manage in Ohio. And we got a bill saying that they wanted taxes. And when I looked into it, they were taxing us for the entire year, including the income that I'd made after we left Ohio.
Of course, because it's the government.
So I had to jump through a bunch of hoops. And I think they've decided that I still owe them like $17, which I can deal with that bill rather than several hundred.
Friggin' taxes, friggin'
yeah,
bureaucracies.
Ohio
friggin'
was
government
just
agencies.
like, I'm kind of glad that I don't live there anymore.
I have not paid 1 thin dime to the state of Oregon this year. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. I get another thing from Ohio. I'm going to be like, cease and desist. Of course, Pennsylvania has a downloadable horse and buggy driver's manual. They have the largest Amish population of the country.
Yes. Yes. Actually, I remember back in '93, I was in the academy studying the highway code for horses, buggies, and horse-drawn carts because it's Texas.
It makes sense that we would have a highway code for those things. And you really need one, too, if you're going to have any kind of that traffic going on.
And of course, that's the one section. It took a day. I think it was an 8-hour class on non-motorized highway vehicles. I think that's what's called. I could be wrong. That's the one that you take the test and you immediately forget everything.
Because you're probably never going to need it.
Never going to need it, and
Mhm.
it's so complicated.
Richard, the horse and buggy emission test is really difficult to administer because most horses object to the hose.
No, not going there. Not going there. Okay, on the riding front. Moving on. On the riding front. Let's see here.
We have a deadline coming up for those of you that would like to be in the Pinup Noir
Yes.
anthology. That is due at the end of the month, February
is.
28th.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. That's why I'm trying like mad to finish mine.
I've been receiving a lot of notifications from folks that they've sent the stories in. So good. Tomorrow is actually Space Cowboy launch day.
Yes, it is. Space Cowboy launch day, and it'll be ebook only because I don't yet have the specs for the print cover, so I haven't made the print cover yet. Courtney's been traveling, so
We've got the cover though, right?
we've got the ebook
Okay.
cover,
Okay.
but the print will lag a little bit. So it'll
Gotcha.
be ebook launch and then print launch, probably within a couple of days.
Okay.
So
Hey, no biggie.
And then in 2 weeks, the next Space Cowboys comes out.
And Space Cowboys is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Space,
Space
Cowboys,
Cowboys-
2.
what is that one? Electric Rodeo?
Electric Boogaloo Rodeo. And then assuming we get 3 more Space Cowboy stories, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Space Cowboys 3, Return of the Bookaroo, will launch probably in a month. And there's squeeing going on in there. I have no idea why.
Will Greg Hildebrandt let us use the image as a cover?
I have I've sent emails his generation. I have not received anything back. So I'm guessing not. However, Raconteur Press has an in-house graphics person who I think should be able to give us an Amazon safe pinup cover in the style of Greg Hildebrandt.
Yes, I will. I've been working on some graphic ideas for it, and that will be coming together soon so that we can start doing cover reveals and space launches.
I'm actually kind of
So,
I'm actually kind of looking forward to Pinup Noir because this is a little bit out of our wheelhouse.
mhm.
Just a
Little
skosh
different.
out.
But I think that's a good thing. We need to have decent variety in the anthologies because we're doing so many of them. So it's the cover should be a redhead, huh, Evan?
As far as Space Cowboys,
Must be a redhead. Oh, I don't know.
we
about
haven't
that.
heard yet. It's a no. That is incorrect. The only acceptance letters and contracts we sent out for the first one, we haven't got around to sending out for the second one yet.
Yeah, Courtney's not back yet.
Courtney
Yeah.
is still in transit.
Courtney had kind of a rough trip with a bunch of stuff going on. So she's been doing what she had to do, but she hasn't had time for any extras, I'm
Nothing
afraid.
that the proper application of high explosives wouldn't fix.
Yes, but we'll let her do it her way until
I was
she
gonna
calls
say-
in the heavy.
I like where we were with the buggies and the buggy whip idea. So
Just proper application of
Uh.
high explosive means that the problems don't come back. Just saying.
but it's too quick.
Yeah, but they never come back.
We'll see what the cover winds up with for Pinup Noir.
Space Cowboys, if you have not received an acceptance letter or a contract yet, we still got 2 books.
Hold your
Right.
fire. We're
Hold
working
fire.
on it.
Okay. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little story, a little secret. Raconteur Press winds up paying for way too many books, like our 4-book 1 multi anthology and our 3-book 1 Space Cowboy anthology and our 2-book 1 Space Marine anthology. We very seldom turn people down. The number 1 rule at Raconteur Press is the story must be entertaining. All else is negotiable. If you don't send something that pisses me off, you've probably been accepted. Now, Postcards from Mars is a little different.
Yeah, that's us girls.
That's the girls. That's not me.
Well, and the other thing with Postcards from Mars was had we accepted 60 stories, which is roughly what we got for submissions, the book would have been thicker, but the individual authors
Nobody
would
would
not
have
have
gotten
gotten paid much, pennies at
also-
most.
Some of them missed. They didn't.
And some of them were not complete stories. So we were being choosy with what we accepted for postcards in that we wanted to make sure authors got paid and it had to be a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an
It had to be
end.
an actual 50-word short story, not an introduction to your world or the first 2 paragraphs of your novel in progress. It had to be an actual story. But as far as the regular anthologies, if it's a good story, I'm not turning it down. Now, if you send me a bunch of junk or something in a format only used by 3 Mongolian yak herders and nobody else, I'll turn that down. So far I've turned down maybe 3 stories. I've turned down the slash fiction Um, for the first Malta anthology, somebody wrote a homosexual romance between John Villette and his squire at the height of the siege. And I got to the sweaty part and sent it back. Um, I turned down one which was in a .yxt format or something, which apparently turns out to be a word processing software from the 90s used by 3 yak herders. And then I turned down one that was just too bloody awful to, and it was they'd gone through and were apparently playing diversity, inclusion, equity bingo with their story, and it went right back. Other than that, y'all write well. And even if I don't like the story, there are people who will like the story and will be happy to give me money that I can then send on to y'all for it. So I very seldom turn down stories, guys.
Yep.
If you haven't received a contract or a letter of acceptance, 1, 2, 3, we're a 4-man house. We'll get
we're
there.
A 1-man, 3-woman house.
We're a 4-person house. A 4-person press. Breathe. We'll get there.
And the one and the guy gets to stand there and look pretty.
Yeah, I stand out front, look pretty. That's actually on my business card. It stands out front, looks pretty.
So the thing is, though, that the point of these anthologies is that we want people to buy them. So what we are looking for are stories that entertain and engage and get
They
people
have
to
to be
want
entertaining.
more. They have to be entertaining. I mean, my suggestion for the motto of the press is have fun, get paid.
I like it.
And
Simple. Fits on a business card.
right.
Get paid, do 3 stories, get out.
Well, and I wrote about that last weekend
Yeah.
for Mad Genius, which was how to write short and get paid twice. Because you can take the short stories that you write for these various anthologies when the end of the exclusivity period runs out, and I think we're at 1 year for
1 year.
Raconteur?
Raconteur does 1 year.
1 year, and when you have the rights back, you take all those stories and you clump them together and you publish them as a short story collection.
Damn.
Nope, he's running away from me.
Nope. I need a prop.
He needs a prop. He's gone for a prop.
Oh,
It might be the monkey. Might be a book. Who knows?
now it's a monkey.
Okay. I want y'all to think of yourselves as this monkey minus the violence.
But maybe they like violence.
Minus the violence. And here you are, you're writing stories, and you've got maybe 10 stories with Raconteur that your rights are back. Fly free. Wrong way. Take your
Don't
stories.
fire yourself
Fly
into the ground.
free.
Oh, wow. He made it way up there.
That's the point. You want to launch people into their own stratosphere.
I will happily accept stories from everybody until the end of time, but Raconteur, we catch, okay, Amazon takes 30% of every dollar, 30 cents of every dollar from any books we sell.
Mhm.
Chuck at PubShare takes another dime for accounting, God bless him, and he can have the money.
Yes.
What's left, we split equally among everybody. We're weird that way, and trust me, I've heard all about it from other presses about how we pay our authors too much. Screw them.
Well, it's not even the pay our authors too much, but it's the fact that there's other presses out there that don't do it the way we do.
Nope.
So we get the squinty eye when we're saying we're doing royalty shares. But this is what I did with Sanderly Studios with the anthologies, the PTSD anthologies that I did was basically I can afford to front the formatting, the editing, the cover design.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do because these are passion projects for me. Now I take a small percentage just like the authors do. And that's what Raconteur has chosen to do as well. Is they're taking a percentage just like the authors. They're taking the same risk as the authors are.
But where I'm going with this is, okay, so we wind up with 60 cents out of every dollar that we split among everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if we've got 10 authors, it's 6 cents, or I don't know.
It's something like that.
Something like that. But if you can take your 10 stories, publish it yourself, you get to keep all 60 cents. It's not
Mhm.
split among 10 authors. It's all for you, which doesn't bother me in the least.
Well, they could keep 70 cents if they're doing it on Amazon themselves,
Yeah.
Because then they don't have to worry about the pub share cut because the royalties come straight to them. And then the other thing too is that they'll have to worry about covers, but I have written many, many articles on how to create a cover yourself.
And at North Texas, we've got plans for Writer 101, baby Writer 101, on how to do everything.
Yep.
So I will be happy to publish you if that's what you want to do. If John Q. Public only wants to publish through me for the next 20 years, I got no issues with that. I'll happily do it. But I'll also be just as happy, and she'll be ecstatic, if you get out and fly like a little monkey on your own, just without the screaming and crashing and dying part.
The thing is that, I mean, I started out independent. Well, I mean, a little bit of just because I wanted the control. So much of my life had been outside of my control that having part of it be inside my complete control was important to me. But the fact of the matter was that the short story market, when I started writing a little over a decade ago, was virtually non-existent. And it was certainly non-existent if you were an unknown writer that didn't have fandom connections.
Right.
So a lot of people spent a lot of money going to like Writers of the Future and whatnot in order to make those connections so that they could actually sell their short stories, which later on led to selling novels to publishers. That's how the game was played back in the day. I didn't want to play the game, couldn't afford to play the game. So I figured out how to do this. And that's what we want to now teach our authors is this is how you can do this.
If you want to do it on your own and get all 70 cents, this is how you do it.
Yes.
Now, again, I've been fielding so many questions. Yes, in 2024, we will probably open to publishing people's work. 2024. Let me get some miles under us before we.
Some miles and some administration structure.
Yeah.
Yes, we figure out how things work.
Right.
But I'm here to tell you, and I sit and smile when people give me the evil eye at conventions because I thought, oh, you're Raconteur Press, you're ruining things for me. Yes. We're going to have Baby Writer 101. We will teach you everything you need to know about self-publishing. And then I want you, get your 70 cents, get your 70%. Okay. Instead of 5 cents, a nickel from us, get your full 70 cents.
Differs 5 loose kittens sounds like chaos.
What?
I know what our house is like right now.
Oh,
5 loose kittens, 3 loose cats.
and Tom Roggerby is filking in the comments, by the way.
He is.
But
committing filk, I see.
Yes. No, at MarsCon, I ran across several small publishers at MarsCon, and Raconteur Press is pissing people off.
Oh darn! Is it because we keep getting orange tags to our?
Shucky
We'll
darn.
take them all, and we only do by invite anthologies.
Yeah,
We're not getting orange tags.
shucky darn.
Yes, I think I am a member of the League of Conspicuous Evil. By default, if nothing else, since I did their logo for
That
them.
needs to be a button.
Oh, it is. I did the logo for it.
But
I mean, that needs to happen.
That's
it.
Nad.
Raconteur Press will happily publish people's work. We really will.
Yeah. We just have
If
to-
you don't want to put up with it,
let us get the paperwork figured out first.
yes.
We're trying not to bite off more than we can chew.
We're taking
Oh my
small
God.
nibbles. We're eating the elephant one bite at a time, okay?
Because that's the other problem that a lot of small presses have is that they take on more than they can manage and they collapse, they fold. This is why we're using PubShare for royalty handling, because we all know our limits and none of us are finance people.
None of us want to do the bookkeeping, even though some
Exactly.
of us know how.
Knowing how and being able to
no.
do it are two separate things.
No. Answer
So-
would be no.
So I'm looking at currently in 2024 a 3-tier. That sounds bad. It sounds like Vanity Press, but if you the tiers, if you submit a manuscript that
Not
you want,
written in stone. So
we're still working on this.
We're
This is
thinking through this.
brainstorming.
This is me having my squirrels are putting stuff out there.
What time is it?
I don't
Somebody is
I got 20 minutes.
know.
okay.
Okay,
We're
so
good. Bye,
if,
Jim.
if you send a manuscript and you need it to be edited and you need a cover, we'll go 50-50 with you. We'll split the royalty 50-50. If you submit a manuscript and it's already been edited or you already have a cover, then we'll do 70. You get 70, we get 30.
A cover that passes muster.
Yes, exactly.
That'd be
Yeah,
all, but
It's got to be
Damn.
right.
we
Yeah.
are not signing off. There's some
Raconteur
covers out there
Press,
that make me
Raconteur
cry.
Press has a certain standards for covers, guys.
Well,
And
yeah.
if you submit a manuscript and it's already edited and it has a good cover, and we don't have to do anything except press the button, y'all get 80%, we'll get 20.
Not written in stone.
Not written
Again,
in
Because
stone.
we
This
haven't done the cost analysis yet.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
So
we're still needing to get through.
ballparking.
Yeah, we're still needing to get through. I'm stumbling my way through this process.
And we all do.
Yes.
So,
And honestly, I don't see us not doing anthologies. Our bread and butter is probably going to be anthologies. I've got a couple of folks that are, 2024 at the earliest for publishing other people's stuff, and I've got people saying, "Oh, I'll wait." Son of a bitch. Okay. God damn it.
And in the meantime, we are going to be starting soon doing the walking you through. Okay, I've got a finished manuscript. Now, what do I do with it?
Mhm.
yeah,
And
the
go
0
through
to 1.
step by step. That's something that I think we need out there. So I write and I have written for Mad Genius Club for several years. And Mad Genius Club is a blog written by writers for writers. About a dozen authors have participated there over the years. And we have all written on various phases of this, but it's scattered. And so I have known for a while that there was a real need for a very organized approach to basically step by step walk people through standard operating procedure of indie publishing. And that's what we want to do. That's one of the next projects I'm looking at once
All right.
I recover
working
from
on-
this last month.
Yeah.
We are working on curriculum.
Yes.
And quite honestly, there's going to be a hard and fast rule. And this is going to be one I will enforce fairly strictly. If you send us a manuscript and we say, "Ooh, it needs to be edited," you say, "No, it doesn't." Or we say, "Ooh, this cover is going to work. You're going to
That's
use this."
easy. That's easy. That's just a rejection.
Then,
mean-
we'll say, "Hey, here's the Baby Author 101. Go publish it yourself."
TED Talks is kind of along the lines of what we have in mind, RK. That sort of instructional, cheerful thing.
I'd like to see if a weekend on the North Texas Troublemaker panel, watching Baby Author 101, Baby Writer 101 videos,
Hmm.
and Monday morning you should be able to hit publish.
Yeah,
That's what I'd like to see.
that would be a
Well,
good
thanks for
plan.
just wrecking our weekend.
What?
No, that would be fun.
No,
No,
What?
she's joking.
Oh, okay.
joking.
Okay.
I'm just giving you shit, Ian, because I can.
Okay.
So
Squirrels.
Mad Genius being compiled into a book, Jesse,
Oh,
is
God.
probably not going to happen. The rights would be a nightmare. And because there's people that are no longer participating and reaching out to them is contraindicated.
My little lady, Wallbanger, I'd put for that kind of thing. My little lady teaches English at a local university. And part of their outreach is they're going to high schools.
Hmm.
So she went to a high school and taught a class at a high school. And I'm here to tell you, I got to listen to her rant about how people do not want to input advice, editing, or anything. And these are high school kids that think, "No, I don't need it." Yeah, Scooter, you do.
Well, I think that's actually going into high schools and teaching them how to do what we do, to be able to take control of their own work. Because I know a lot of high schoolers are publishing fan fiction.
Hmm.
My daughters were writing fan fiction and reading a ton of fan fiction. And the rights grabs on some of the fan fiction sites right now are absolutely insane. And it's entirely possible to take fan fiction, scrub the serial numbers off, and publish it for yourself.
Just really scrub the serial numbers off.
Yeah, well, Lois McMaster Bujold, the first of the Cordelia's books, which my brain has just gone, I can't remember the title of it, was originally written as Star Trek fan fiction.
Oh,
so it is
she did write for Star Trek, so
she is absolutely possible to
Shards
Shards
of
of
Honor.
Honor. Thank you. My brain was just like, blink, couldn't get it. And so there is absolutely possible, and of course there's other more famous fan fictions that succeeded in spite of
50
everyone's
Shades of
horrors.
Grey.
Yes.
Fuck. I wish I had her money, but god damn, that's hard to read.
So these kids have skills, and some of them are honed in fire, which is because if you submit something crappy on a fan fiction site,
They'll rip you apart.
Yes.
It's like piranhas on a carcass.
Yes, exactly. So they learning those skills that they're learning by doing, they could absolutely take it and use it to publish something eventually. So I think that would be kind of a fun thing to try and get into, is to like take this show on the road.
Flippin' Harmon asks, wait, why is Fractal Press pissing off people?
Not so much pissing off people as we're pissing off other people who are trying to do similar things. And
we're pissing off people because we pay fairly, or what I consider to be fairly.
We're very transparent, and a lot of publishers are not at all transparent.
There was one small press, really a vanity press, and that's a sticking point with me, that's annoyed at us because we split all profits equally. They split all profits after they take 50%. And you have to really dig into their contract before you realize they get 50% of everything, and the other 50% is split among the authors. So their authors are getting less than half of what ours are.
And there are publishers out there that will say that they start to pay their authors after costs are met, but then they don't enumerate what those costs are.
Nope.
And I know of at least a small house that says that they pay $800 for covers. And then they also have other costs that have to be met. And funny how people in their anthologies comment that they get very little to no money. And I have people commenting when I write, like my article last week in Mad Genius, I have people commenting in there saying, oh, I never make money on anthologies. And I'm like, well, you can. I mean, I thought for a long time, I thought that the anthologies were basically my lost leader. I was going to toss a story in there. I wouldn't get money while it was in the anthology, but I would get access to a broader fan base. And then when I got the rights back to the story, I'd put it in a collection, and at that point I'd make a little bit of money off of it. So the other thing that we're doing at Raconteur is that we give the rights back to the author at the end of the exclusivity period of a year, but we don't unpublish the anthology. And because we're managing it through PubShare, you can get a long tail of a trickle of income until the anthology is unpublished, which is not something we have any plans to do unless an author comes to us and wants us to.
Yeah.
So it's a long tail of
that
income.
Really sent somebody the bar at MarsCon into orbit.
Mm-hmm.
They said that somebody had told them what we did and said they're obviously getting it wrong. I said, what part are they getting wrong? That they would get the rights back after a year, but we will continue to pay them after a year. I said, no, that's dead on.
Yeah.
How are you doing? You can't do that. You know what you're doing to us? I don't care.
Right, because it's the anthology, and there will be people that don't that want to buy an author's story twice. Mm-hmm. I recommend, if you're creating a short story collection, that there should be stories in there that aren't found anywhere else. You want something new and fresh to bring in people that have read everything that you've ever written. There will be people that didn't want to read the anthology for whatever reason. It was a theme that they didn't like, but they like you. There will be people that just entirely missed that the anthology existed, but they follow you on Amazon. So when you put out your collection, that will pop up, which is also a Mm. I need to make sure that everybody knows to set up an Author Central page and claims their books,
Claim
all
the
of
books.
them.
And that's one. There's several reasons why we only do 10 authors per anthology, and one of them is that Amazon gets really squirrely at the 10 author mark as far as claiming the book.
Mhm.
Once you get to 10 authors, it gets really hard. Matter of fact, I still haven't been able to claim Can't Go Home Again.
I've been told that there's a hard cap. I was initially told that you could get more than that, but now I'm told that no, there's a hard cap of 10. But if you claim it through your Author Central, it will still show up. You'll still be able to find it. So there's a discussion about the first year versus long tail. Yes, sales are generally front loaded for the first year. As a matter of fact, the first month really is going to be the bulk of the sales. However, there will be a long tail of sales. I have anthologies that I'm in that I've been in for 3-4 years, and they're still selling, and I'm still getting income off PubShare for them.
Well, the folks that were in the first anthology we published was Ghosts of Malta.
Mhm.
And every anthology we've published since then, Ghosts of Malta sees a bump.
Yes, and that's the other thing, is because we're doing series interlinked anthologies. When I put out But Not Broken, I series linked it to Can't Go Home Again, and there is a bump. You can see it. So when you're talking about a series of anthologies that are interlinked, it's the same thing as a series of novels. When novel number 2 comes out, people find it, and then they go back and read novel number 1, and so on and so forth.
What we're seeing is, we're going to have 12 anthologies on minimum. Jesus wept. We're going to have minimum 12 anthologies on the ground when we enter 2024. And the great thing about it is we're always finding new authors.
Yep,
that's the best part.
It is. It's so much fun.
Absolutely the best part.
When we published Space Marines #1, Maggie Hogarth is in there, and her fan base is going to buy that and then go back and buy a lot, not all of them, but several of her fan base will go by and buy our back catalog. So Ghosts of Malta, if you're in Ghosts of Malta, you'll see a bump. Not be much. You'll see a bump. You see a little taste when Space Marines launches.
And I can see that some small presses don't want to manage royalties where they're sending out checks for $2, but we don't have to because we use PubShare. So even if I'm only getting a couple of bucks a month from these older anthologies, by the time I'm in 10, 12, 20 anthologies, I'm still getting a chunk of money every month. So it's one of those things of, it is the long tail, it is the back catalog, and this is how you get your name out there. And as a new writer, these are the ways that you get started.
Flip and Harmon quote: "Thing is, people who don't like the way Racketeer pays authors can always, set their own damn press." That's the thing. Authors, we are a very author-friendly press. I believe my authors should get paid. My authors come first. It's other presses that have issues with us.
Yeah.
Because
the other thing that we do is we only do open calls. We don't do anthologies where there's only 1 or 2 open stories and people have to compete for that.
Nope.
Because it's not the way we roll.
I get new authors this way, and I love. And again, this last one we launched, we get more people. Oh my God, David Bach. I don't think you'll understand how pleased I am that he's on the cover and he's squealing about it.
Yeah.
And his name's on the cover. He's not T Man Moore anymore. And that I love that. I really do. But we are focused on the authors, not on the profit. We are not focused on the company. I'm firmly of the belief, if we treat our authors correctly, if we treat our authors properly, pay them what's fair, and be open and honest, we will slowly build up to a profit.
Not only that, rising tide.
Tide.
We all get to read all these wonderful stories.
Here's I can tell, just about every other small press out there wants to make the money, and the authors come second. Authors come first with us, and the money will come along as we treat our authors well.
We are collectively in a somewhat unusual position. I don't, at this point, need the income. I have a day job, pays pretty decently. The writing for me always has been my retirement plan, which is why I am very long focused. When I started writing, it was a 30-year plan. And at this point, it's a 10-year or 20-year plan for me. So I am still in a very long-sighted mode of looking at this, because it's still building. And I mean, I'm ecstatic about where I am after a decade of doing this. I never intended to be publishing anyone else. Or if I was, it was going to be like making my mom finally finish a story because she's a really good author. Mom.
But
But this, I love doing this, and I love that I get to help with this. So, yeah.
and that's as far as I'm concerned, the way I was raised, the way I've taught, the way I've seen. If I take care of the authors, they will take care of me eventually.
Mhm.
And a lot of other presses. Three Ravens isn't this way. It's one of the few that's not.
Yeah.
A lot of other presses, it's make the money and the authors are there to be used.
Well, the added benefit is our really outrageous bar.
No kidding, right?
Oh my God, the bar is astonishing. So,
But I'll pay my authors. Everybody, like I said, she pays, I pay for the covers. The covers from Malta came out of my pocket.
Mm-hmm. And which is why I'm now on board as an illustrator, because if y'all hire me to do the cover for your novel, and I'm doing an ebook cover, a print flat, hardback, and promo, I'm charging you $500 for it. But in this case, I can afford to be like, okay, I'm going to take a share of the royalties, just like the authors are, because I know that what I'm working with is a quality bunch of people. And there again, it's that long trickle of income for me.
But we're always going to be upfront. One of the reasons we use PubShare, other than the fact that they get to do all the tax crap and I don't have to. One of these reasons use PubShare is they're fairly transparent.
Yes.
You can call up your PubShare page, see how many we sold.
Yeah, it's so much fun because you get to go in there and you get all the graphs and the charts that if you were publishing through most small presses out there, they can't. It's too much of a nuisance, and they won't show you. But you can absolutely watch the numbers. You can watch things kick up. This is not something that most places will do, but right now I'm running an Amazon ad for this. So I have got this being advertised, which has one, it might sell copies, but what Amazon ads actually do is bump the algorithms. So when you're running an ad from a book, it also bumps it up in other ways so that it becomes more visible to people. And I've noticed in experimenting on my own work that it really helped, especially series, because I'd be advertising the first one and the second one would get pulled right along with it. So I'm curious to see what happens, because I did manual keywords and I'm running an ad for this book and I've got it into some really interesting categories, and we'll see. But again, we can afford to do these experiments and we're going to, and then we're going to share the information with you guys.
Yep. But I've got my law enforcement pension. I've got a day job, and I'm not making a lot of money off of this. This is not my full-time job, and probably won't be for some time. And that's my design.
That's the best way to start a small business.
The authors need to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
I will get paid later on.
Yeah, it's a slow traction,
slow build,
because most small businesses fail, and most small businesses fail because they fail to plan ahead, and so they'll take out loans or they'll get in over their heads. Whereas what we're doing here is incremental growth.
Yep.
So it's a lot more sustainable business model.
We're wanting to I want to publish entertaining stories. And that's not to say I've been accused of this. That's not to say I won't publish fiction with messages.
Oh yeah, no.
The original Star Trek.
This is nothing but message.
The original Star Trek was great in showing how you could have message and an entertaining story at the same time. If you send me an entertaining story that's got message in it, I'll publish it. If you send me a message story that's not entertaining at all, it gets kicked back with advice to, hey, go to Baby Writer 101. He published your own damn self.
Differs. Have you set up your payments through PubShare?
What?
Do you have a story in Malta? Did we publish
Of
Emily?
course she does.
And she hasn't. Right. I will catch you offline, lady. Because we have run into this before where people didn't get their payments
Because
options set up.
they didn't set up a payment thing right. You should be getting paid.
No, she didn't. Okay. Honey, we will get this done. I need to do a screenshots tutorial to
Yeah.
walk through people. So,
Only the library one.
well, you wouldn't get paid for the library. Oh no, she's saying that that's the only thing she's submitted to is the library one.
Yeah.
No, you won't get
Oh,
paid for
okay,
the library.
okay.
Money on that one.
So, okay. All right. Give me a heart attack here.
As far as I know, every author that we've published is getting paid because I
Right.
get paid the same y'all do.
Yeah.
I get paid less than y'all actually.
Well, you also get paid for the illustrated books. That's a whole separate thing.
Yeah, but I'm not getting paid for. There are several I'm not getting paid for.
Oh, anthologies?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's how you set it up. So,
Yeah.
yes, PubShare is fairly easy to set up.
It's fairly intuitive. There's one part that's not, and that's the payment thing.
Yeah, which is why we keep having to
Yeah,
walk people through it.
And when we send out acceptance letters, we add a how to set up your PubShare account to the acceptance letters.
I need to figure out how to capture a video of myself doing a screen share with my computer. And I'm going to set up a mock book or even maybe the beginning of maybe Squeaks. Maybe I'll do it with Squeaks and do a walkthrough video with people of how to set up an account and a book with PubShare.
Okay.
So that people can actually
we need to do
see.
two. We need to know we do how to set up your account at PubShare,
Uh-huh.
and second, how to claim a book on Amazon because that's the two
Yes.
big. That's
Those are the two big ones. And how to order a book through the author copies through PubShare.
Uh-oh.
Jonna's making notes
Oh,
for
she's
us.
making
Thank
notes.
you, Jonna.
Okay, so you said how to set up PubShare.
How to set up your payment in PubShare because people that's the big thing.
We want to make sure they get paid. And
Because
if
they
they
need to
don't
get
set
paid.
it up, then they will get paid eventually when they do set it up.
Yeah.
But Chuck can't send it anywhere if he doesn't know where to send it.
Because
So-
it uses an account that you email account that you set in. So when you're going through it looks like you're set up for payment, but
Mhm.
you have to go in and specifically set up payment. I didn't first time.
Yeah.
And Cedar said, "Hey, royalty day," and I went, "I didn't get royalty." She said, "You need to." And I went and was like, "Oh shit, I didn't set up my. God damn it!" Because you have to choose. You have to choose. And with PubShare, you get paid monthly through PayPal or quarterly with paper check. As long as your payment is $10 or more, you'll get paid.
Okay. 2 questions. John, yes, please. Would love a formatting presentation at FoolsCon. And I may be
Okay.
sorry.
Way too close to a panel.
Yeah, that's a panel
That's
thing.
way too close to a panel.
Yeah, but
No,
learning
No.
things.
no.
Okay, maybe not. Okay,
John,
and 2,
John, you have to do it quietly in the closet so no one can see you.
we may have the pop-up booth set up as a sound booth, so maybe we can
Yeah, hide
do
in
it
the corner
hide
so
in
no
there.
one sees that work.
Um, And the library ghosts having a name
What?
misspelled.
John says, "What if he does it when he's drunk?"
Drunk panels, yes.
Them, them.
Is it a panel if we're all drinking?
Is it?
Secret panel cabin.
Is it? Is it really? Is it really a panel if we're all sitting around a table slamming shots?
No, I can't do that.
It has to be in secret. So you have to run off to a room with a hooker. So.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Richard, the point isn't that you have to shoot fish. That's it's hunting stories. So yes. The library ghost misspelling, we know the person that runs that anthology, so we can probably drop a word in her ear.
Let's catch Amy.
Yes, always disregard the noises in the closet. Never go look in the closet.
I will say though, the women's bathroom is pretty good size. You can do a panel in there. So it's even got hide on the floor.
I suddenly had a mental image.
I know, right? That's where we're doing the tie-up Bethany panel.
Tie up Bethany panel?
Yes,
Bethany likes to be tied up.
we're going to be tying up Bethany at FoolsCon.
Which Bethany?
DeFreeze. bins, lovely lady.
Moving on.
Right, and given what time it is, probably wrapping up.
Holy gods, we're 10 minutes. Oh,
Let's
yeah.
tie this up.
And you've got someplace to be, Ian. So you guys
All
are
right.
at the door.
Okay, so issues.
We have
Squirrel
them.
lost glow stick. Damn it.
Yes, and you have a place to be.
Tomorrow is Ian's birthday, and Space Cowboys
We're launching
launch.
Space Cowboys tomorrow. Why does me turning red always seem to amuse the hell out of people?
Because
I'm
it's so
fair-skinned.
obvious.
I'm fair skinned. It
and
happens.
you're wearing a light shirt.
It's also when you turn plaid, it's more entertaining than seeing
I'm
the-
fair skinned. I'm fair skinned.
So am I.
I know.
We're
You
all
see us.
pasty white people.
Yeah, we're all pasty white people. Complexion changes are quite. We glow in the dark. You can see complexion changes. Okay. Where were we? Squirrels.
We will
glow
catch
stick.
you
Three
all.
Moms broadcast.
The Three Moms
Is that-
broadcast
Go take a look.
is up and available. It is also now findable on any podcast app that you care to use. I've used Overcast, and I know it's on Spotify because I found it on Spotify.
Yay.
And if you find it on and you follow it, please subscribe to it through a podcast thing. That would be absolutely wonderful. And also give us ratings and reviews. Much appreciated there.
Leota's on here, I think.
I saw her.
Me, Leota, and Cedar and I were going to do but I've got to go look at a house, so it's
Ooh.
going to be later.
Okay, so
Yeah,
on
maybe
that
tomorrow.
note, folks, let's let you all go. Remember,
Don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the pay stuff. And where's Cecil? Cecil better get back in the
Cecil's
basement.
way over there, so let's go ahead and end this thing.
Y'all be safe, all right?